Honest J. Nowak. Oh yeah. A pleasure to meet all at last, and welcome back to my channel once again. So, right now, I've got myself some new Honest J. Nowak and Flying with the Foam stuff, but right now, I'd very much just like to clarify something really quickly. This series is still going on pretty strong, so again, welcome in case you're new here, welcome in case you've already known my channel for a long time, and welcome to those who have already known my channel just now. So, here we go with number 662. Yep. Now, the selection I made here this time is pretty awesome, because if you're very familiar with Nerf Secret Reveal Bolts of Intrigue, then you'd pretty much know that this is one of many blasters that have been used in the film. Because, well, if you don't remember it very well, then I can pretty much just put a link down in the description box below, so this way you can easily see what I'm talking about. This is the rival Morpheus, but because of Hasbro's little old negligence to basically just go as far as to naming their blasters whatever they could possibly want without realizing that these blasters have a specific name format for them that has already been agreed upon by the generalized public opinion, they decided to call this the Charger. It's a rival blaster, named it after a particular Greek, Chinese, or like anything based off of mythology. Not something different. Why change what we grew up with? I mean, even though it's only been around for 6 long years, I mean, the rival series sure is kicking it deep. With lots of new blasters, lots of new, well, lineups that are pretty much starting to come around, including the all-new Curve Shot series. I could probably talk about that some other time, but for now, mostly because they aren't really around yet, I guess it's about time that I probably should get to know a little bit more about the Rivals lineup as it is right now. The Morpheus right here certainly is quite a nice blaster for what it is. It does have that sort of P90-esque feel to it, partly because its shape is very reminiscent to it, but yep. And right there, the magazine is empty. But simply put, it's pretty easy to reload this one, for sure. And, wow. I ought to talk a little bit more about that kind of issue right there, because, well, first of all, the way that you reload this blaster is by putting in HIR rounds directly into this, and they'll slide all the way back, which is very reminiscent to that of some other blasters out there, like the Artemis and the Hades. So this one certainly does reutilize some of these same sort of reloading techniques. But the real thing is that, well, that's basically how you close it, and there's a pretty big spring in there. It's pretty loose, kind of flimsy in a way, so that's kind of going to be annoying at some point. But the thing is that this blaster certainly does have itself quite a good amount of space and can utilize up to 12 rounds, which that alone is pretty comparable to that of your average mag-fed rival blaster, which could also house a 12-round mag or a 7-round mag, but this does hold 12 as a whole. And then of course you just close it up like this. Here's the jam door right around the front where it should be, right before the flywheels as well, so in case you ever have a jam or something of that sort, pretty easy to fix. But let's just say that, well, you probably already noticed it, but yeah, even when this thing is open, it's still, well, it still revs up, like just like normal. But I don't really get why Hasbro is doing a lot of this, because if you've ever bumped into it by accidents, then it basically could potentially just drain the battery power right out of these batteries. And for the record, this does take a whopping 6 C-cell batteries. That is heavy. I mean, literally, it's heavy. Like, look at this. You could barely get yourself some good balance put into this. I'm not really complaining about it, mostly because I've handled a lot of weight since I was young, and I've been able to carry so much of it throughout my life. I mean, I could boast all day about how strong I've possibly gotten because of all these years of lifting weights, but for the most part, this blaster sure does have itself some pros put into it, a few flaws put into it, but overall, its usage of 12 rounds at once, its usage of a sort of P90-esque aesthetic appearance of some sorts, and of course usage of one tack rail on the top. Yeah. But the thing is, we don't really have too many rivals-related attachments for the tack rails that they use here. So we don't necessarily have to worry too much about those, but I can't really say for sure that it's supposed to be the best option possible to have attachments, since there are only so many that you can pretty much put in for this lineup as a whole. But this blaster as a whole, a motorized blaster, it sure does do pretty good for what it is. The rival of Morpheus sure is quite a nice addition to any collection. And remember, this was also a big inclusion in Nerf Secret Reveal Bolts of Intrigue. So of course, be sure to go down to the link in the description box below where you can easily find it, and I'll pretty much be able to have that part put up there. Probably as just, well, a part of the link as a whole. But that's pretty much going to do for right now. That's pretty much my talk on the rival Morpheus, and that's probably going to be my talk on Nerf-related products for some time. At least until I get back to recording some more of this material. But if you want to see more, go down to my channel. Then make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, follow me on social media, and stay on the Hollywood side.